then we will monitor in between before the session ends. Thank you all. Over to you, Mr. Shesha.
Thank you, Radhika. Thank you for the nice and warm welcome. Welcome everyone else on the line of the students, the faculty, the principals, HODs, and all of you. So, first of all, I would like to thank TASK team to have given this opportunity to guide students through HYSEA. HYSEA is an industry body association. Industry body. It's an association of IT companies. There are about 300 plus companies that are our members, which represent 90% of the IT industry in Telangana, and at least 90% of the revenues that are exported out of Telangana. So we represent most of the industry, and all our speakers are all industry leaders from the IT industry, and they're all doing this as a service, the TASK students, without expecting anything in return other than giving something back to the industry and the colleges and the students. So we are very excited to help grow the IT industry. The IT industry is the future, and IT is the future for any of the industries or domains or careers or whatever. So, in this connection, HYSEA runs this series of career options in ESG. So, today we are going to be learning from Venkatesh, who is an expert in ESG, on what is ESG, what is carbon neutrality, what is the importance of reducing the emissions. As Radhika mentioned, the net zero goals of India 2070, how they will be met. 2070 is about 50 years away, and if we had to get to neutrality, carbon neutrality by then, there are some seeds that we have to sow in the fields today for the betterment of our climate and cleanliness and in fact survival of the mankind. So it's very, very important topic. ESG stands for environment, social and governance. So today we are going to be focusing on the E part of it in the ESG. So feel free to have your questions, listen to what Venkatesh is going to talk about, learn from him, and when you have questions, post them in the chat box, and we will answer all those questions at the end of the session. Don't worry if you don't get a response immediately. You wait for the learning from Venkatesh, and right after that, we will get into your questions. Thank you very much, and over to you, Venkatesh.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rao. Thank you, Radhika, and a warm welcome to all the students and faculty. It's an absolute honor to represent HYSEA for this particular talk show. So what we're going to discuss today is ESG and the various career options that we intend or ESG is going to offer. Please note that ESG is all about giving it back to the environment in particular. So please note what you do today is going to impact your children and your grandchildren. So I'm sure if you do the right things in the right manner, you'll get a lot of blessings from your children and your grandchildren and further down the line. So it's all about taking the right steps, ensuring that we take Mother Earth in the right direction and not misuse it as what it is happening now or previous years, but then the right steps towards making the right corrective actions for to get the environment damages in place. Okay, so coming back, I'm sure a lot of you might be wondering what is ESG is all about. While some of you would have heard about it, some of you haven't heard about it. So one word, so in one sentence, ESG means, take the next slide, Rakesh. And E stands for environment, S stands for social, and G stands for governance. So environment, social, and governance. So that's what, in short, ESG is all about. And why is it important? It's important for all the corporates, not only corporates, for all others to ensure that we have the right set of environmental saving mechanisms. We have the right sets of how we deal with our community, that is the social aspect of it. When we say community, all the community that is around our ecosystem, be it if it's an organization, the entire community around where the organization stands, and what we do for the not only employees for whom we pay salaries, but also a lot of people outside, whom we help indirectly. Okay, so are we doing the right things? And the third part is governance, very important in the present context, in terms of how companies are run. Are they run in the right manner? Do we have the right set of values? Do we have the right set of ethics in terms of how we want to make our profits? Or are we resorting to some unfair means or some illegal means to get our profits, with no concern for the society and the environment? So this is what ESG all stands for. So this is what it is for you in short. Next slide, Rakesh. Yeah. So this is what I explained a short while ago. Okay. So delving a little bit more. I'm going to the next slide. Delving a little bit on environment. So environment is all about how organizations use their energy. What does organization consume? They consume a lot of energy. So be it any sector, be it the manufacturing sector, the steel plants or the cement plants, or the IT industries, or any organization that you have will consume a lot of energy. So when we consume this energy, are we taking any mitigation measures? Are we taking any corrective measures to ensure that we are giving something back to the environment? So that is called environmental responsibility. So, are we building the right set of buildings? Are our buildings I'm sure we all, over a period of time, we were living in the age of that ordinary light bulbs. Once upon a time, I'm sure a lot of us, at least in my generation, would have studied under the yellow color light bulbs. Okay, which is say a 40 watt or a 60 watt. Okay, and slowly we have moved out from the yellow color light bulbs to the CFL bulbs. Okay, so CFL bulbs were supposed to be more long lasting. It was a little bit more energy efficient. We all used to jump in joy when our energy bills used to come down after fixing the CFL bulbs. Okay, and we had CFL bulbs for a few years, and now the next set of bulbs have come. That is the LED bulbs that have come, which is even more efficient, gives you even more better lighting, even more better efficiency. So all these generational shift of something which is more efficient and which is helping the environment. And there are multiple such examples, not only about light bulbs. There are lots of machinery, there are lots of equipment, which over a period of time have become more and more efficient. Okay. Take, for example, your own two-wheelers and four-wheelers that we all used to use, okay, which were less efficient, a couple of decades ago, and have become more and more efficient today. And with the advent of alternate fuels, with the advent of battery-powered vehicles, so we are moving in the right direction towards mitigating all the environmental issues that we are facing and which we are likely to face in the near future if we don't take the right steps now. The second aspect is the social part, how we run our business in terms of are we employing both male and female in the right proportion? Are we ensuring that our customers is satisfied. Are we following the right labor practices in terms of paying the right salaries, the minimum wages? Um, are, or are we putting people under extremely harsh working environment? So all this comes under the social aspect of how we manage our ESG standards. So it's very important for organizations that all this, how we treat our community as a whole is very important in terms of the overall social aspect of ESG. Coming to governance. Now, governance is a very important part of how organizations run. Organizations must ensure that they run their businesses in the most fair and clean manner. So it's very important that we do not resort to unfair means, unfair practices, taking shortcuts to make more money, make more profit. Okay, so a lot of so we have a lot of SEBI guidelines that has come in. SEBI is the Security Exchanges Board of India, which regulates how businesses are done. So a lot of guidelines have evolved over past many years in terms of how we need to do our businesses. There's a lot of changes in how the leadership, how the boards of various organizations must comprise of from various other industries and various other stalwarts of industries who should be there. There are a lot of audits that happen. There's a lot of questioning that goes on in terms of whether you have been involved in any kind of corrupt practices or any bribery practices that has happened, or have you made any political contributions that is against the norm of SEBI guidelines. So all this encompasses the entire aspect of ESG. The list is vast. It's very huge. But to make things a little short, it will give you an overall perspective of what ESG stands for, what ESG is all about. So just a quick recap: it's environment, it is social, and it is governance. So that's what ESG. These are three pillars of ESG in short.
Excellent. That's great information, sir. Okay, after we talk about the importance of ESG, Venkatesh, if you can guide our students on how they can build their careers, in the ESG arena. Um,
Sure.
So maybe a little bit more on the career opportunities.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I'll start right away. So I'm sure each one of you will have your own questions in terms of how you want to have your career shaped up. Um, One thing as students I'd like to definitely put across is that as a student, you must have your heart on the environment. If you genuinely like saving Mother Earth, then ESG is the right line for you. There are multiple options that is coming up, that is going to come up, and since the controls from SEBI and the government of India is going to get stringent and stringent, there will be a huge requirement for people like you who are currently students and who will pass out in the next coming years, who can specialize in this aspect of environment, social, and governance, where many companies, it will be across spectrums, who would really be more than willing to take you, provided you show the right interest and aptitude towards ESG. Okay, if I go on to the next slide, so ESG also helps in understanding the negative impact of business on environment. Just go back to the previous slide, Rakesh. Um, so so take for example a simple thing like, I'm sure we all would know or would have heard about how River Ganga is badly polluted, but it was really bad about 20 years ago, and that was due to multiple leather tanneries operating on the banks of River Ganga, and it was you could not step into the river, you could not take a bath. It was so bad. It was so bad. So while the leather tanneries are making their profits, they have made a really a mess of the river in terms of letting out their untreated effluents into the river. So these are all very negative impacts of business, which has to be mitigated in order to save the environment. So River Ganga, in this particular case, where there's a lot of improvement that has happened over the past many years in terms of there's a Ganga action plan. I'm sure you would have come across that, but for people who are not aware, there's a lot of steps which has been taken by the government to stop this illegal letting out of effluent water from the tanneries. And right now, I've been to Varanasi just in January, and let me tell you, the river is far more cleaner than what I would have imagined about 10 to 15 to 20 years back. And that's a fantastic step taken by the government, and not only the government, it is by the people in general, who have ensured that they take the right mitigation measures, follow the norms, follow the laws of the land, and take the right steps towards proper environmental management. Yeah. Next, Rakesh. So as I told you, so there are multiple options that you can take up in ESG, be it the environment part, the social part, and the governance part. Okay, I will run you through some of the career options available in the environment aspect, in the social aspect, and in the governance aspect, because there's a lot that you can do. In fact, you must do, because it is for students like you who would be a part of the industry in the next 1 year, 2 years, or 4 years, whichever year you are in. There's a lot of dependency, because you will come with a fresh set of mind, you will come with no baggage, and when you start fresh, you also tend to learn very, very quickly, and that's what the industry expects out of you to deliver. But at the end of the day, you must keep in mind that you must have environment at the center of your heart, because if you genuinely feel for the environment, I'm sure each one of you will be a shining star in your respective area of work. Okay, next one. Yeah, so this is just a small write-up on what an engineering graduate can do. Probably like designing the right equipment, or designing the right structure, understanding how environment works. Okay, so how buildings were designed 20 years ago. Um, Not sure if you know, a lot of buildings have got this glass facade. It's called the glass windows. If you see in any commercial location, if you come to Hyderabad or any other metro city, you'll find all these buildings covered with glass windows. So they're pretty good to look at. But then, are they the right buildings in terms of energy efficiency? The answer is no. They have been not designed in terms of energy efficiency, because when you have glass, you have a lot of light coming in, you have a lot of heat coming in, and what does light and heat do? It warms up the office interiors, and when it warms up the office interiors, your AC needs to run more and more, more and more, more and more. So that leads to buildings being extremely inefficient in terms of your energy cost and energy consumption. So so all you young designers, all you future civil engineers, please ensure that you do not design glass buildings in future. Okay, of course there should be glass in the right proportion. It has to be a 70-30 proportion. But not a complete glass or facade from top to bottom. That's very important, so that you take up the right energy initiative for that. For people who are into science, pure science, like a biology or a botany or zoology, or a natural sciences, it's all about understanding the systems. What the natural environment is all about. Environmental science, focus on natural systems. How do we contribute? How do we make it better? Um, Planting trees is, we all hear about, but then um, honestly, how many of us have really gone and planted a tree? Um, of course, I don't want answers right now. It's all about a question that you need to ask yourself. Okay, how many of us have really gone and planted a tree, dug a small pit, put the tree out there, covered up with soil, and poured water? And not that it doesn't end there. You have to look after the sapling for at least a couple of months for it to catch onto the for the roots to catch on and then grow up. So no, not many people. It's only the government folks who keep planting the trees along the roads, etc., who do this job. But each one of you should take it up. I will plant, say, why not 100 or thousands of trees in my lifetime. Start counting now. I'm sure you'll reach your goal in a few years down the line. And of course, coming on to the last one, the professional services. There's a lot of requirement of when anybody says that we have done all this in energy management, or this is how we manage our governance, or this is how we manage our results. So there has to be checks and balances. Is the data true? Is the data correct? Okay, is the whatever data has been published? Of course, we all have heard about fake news, etc., etc. So there's a huge requirement of having people who do auditing, makers and checkers. Okay, people who make lofty environmental credentials. Okay, we have built this and that, etc. So all these things has to be checked and verified for their genuineness. So a lot of career options get built around auditing management in the environment aspect of in the corporate world. Next, Rakesh. So okay, so this is where I was talking about the job roles pertaining to the environment aspect of ESG. Okay, so I'll run through a few job titles which a person can become on the environment part. I'm sure there are much more than that. Over a period of time, there will be a lot of other designations too. But then something that quickly comes to our mind is what let's run through. Okay, next. Yeah. Okay, so here you are. You can do a environmental protection specialist. So this is something like a environment conservationist. Okay, a person who conserves the environment, a person who takes care of the natural systems, and also look at any damages that has happened to the natural ecosystems. When I say natural ecosystems, the forest, the trees, all that you see. Okay, in some places across the state, you will find, say, if you just go through Sri Salem, there's a lot of forest area. So these are the environmental protection specialists. Okay, and of course, this is all new words, but then in the rural area, you'll find a lot of people doing these jobs. Okay, and they are doing it only for the love of it. But then now this has become a career option. Next slide. You have landscape architects. Again, how you design new buildings, new campuses. Okay, the place where you are studying. I'm sure there might be multiple scope for to making it more energy efficient, more greener, plant more trees, make it more green, make it in terms of make it such a structure that it consumes lesser energy, lesser water. So energy does not mean only power. It also means consuming less water systems also. Next one. So this is an ESG energy manager. Okay, energy manager is again a guy, a person who is tasked with auditing the use of environmental, financial, and resources. Okay, so he designs energy efficient projects, help control water, energy use. Have you designed the right structure? Have you designed that it is energy efficient in all aspects? Okay, be it how the water gets consumed, how we have all our wastewater from the sewage. That's an important aspect of how you treat your sewage. Normally, all the sewage goes out into the government drains, and then it gets treated in the government sewage treatment plant. But all locations may not have a sewage treatment plant, and for all you know, that the sewage might be let out directly into a water body or a lake or a pond or a river, and that's the same water that people use for washing, drinking, and other uses, leading to extreme damage to health of human beings as well as animals. That's pretty sad. Next one. Again, something on similar basis, environmental consultant, almost the same job, different nomenclatures, different names. Okay, the environment consultant will help target, identify the and recommend solutions for common concerns like soil contamination, water pollution, air quality control. Um, he will also ensure that the laws and regulations are being met. Very important. Laws and regulation is something that will keep changing over a period of time. And we started with the Environmental Protection Act 1986, and we have had multiple amendments to that act over a period of time, and it will continue to happen. So people who want to pursue a short course on environmental law will really help them to understand how the Indian law system works and from where it is coming. The base act being the Environmental Protection Act of 1986. Next slide. Um, this is an ecologist, a simple guy who will, who will suggest on how to restore any damage that has been made to environment, be it water, be it soil, be it be it trees. Reason being is that it's not only about IT. There's a lot of other industries that cause extensive damage to environment. Say like all the manufacturing industry or mining industry, which extensively, they take the minerals from the earth, and over a period of time, it's a tendency for soil contamination to happen, to erosion to happen. So an ecologist will study the impact of all this, and I'm sure you would have known the copper plant being shut down in a place called Thoothukudi in Tamil Nadu, run by Sterlite. So that was shut down because it was having negative impacts on soil and water in the area surrounding Thoothukudi, and it continues to be shut because it was causing unimaginable pollution to the soil and water. Next. Another terminology called energy engineer. So they would mostly design. I don't know. They are normally the designers. The people who start the subject matter. Design the most efficient systems, ensure that the right set of materials are used. There are no polluting elements that are incorporated into the systems. One of the most energy consuming equipment that you see in your office, or be it even houses, is the AC that you use. And AC consumes a very high amount of energy. But the AC that was manufactured, say 20 years back, vis-a-vis the AC that gets manufactured today, there's a vast difference in terms of how the energy gets consumed. Not only AC, but a lot of other appliances that we use at home. there's a big difference in how the consumption has improved, how the efficiency has improved. So people who are still using the 25-year-old ACs, it's time that you may want to relook at to use a more environment friendly and a much more energy efficient. Don't worry, you will recover your cost. It's just a matter of time that you'll recover your cost, because it will show up in your energy bills. So that's how energy engineer designs um, better buildings or better appliances or better equipment. So sustainability engineer is something who implements renewable energy mandates, projects, and programs, and assesses the sites of the client company or government project that you're assigned to. Many companies, Infosys included, we have our own sustainability initiatives. We have installed solar plants inside some of our campuses across India. We have also done some solar projects for the general community. There's a small village in Ladakh that we have completely lit up with the help of solar panels. So that was a project that was taken up somewhere in 2018-19, where we did this sustainable initiative of so that people don't have to depend upon non-renewable energy sources. So sunlight is an infinite source. So you can continue to take the energy requirements from the sun. So these are all the sustainable engineer does in terms of assessing how we can make things better and better over a period of time. Conservation scientists. This is more about working on field work. Okay, anything which pertains to monitoring barren land, ensuring that you make that convert the land area into a semi-forest or a forest for that matter. I'm sure a lot of people in rural areas do that. They do it purely out of their love for environment and forest and trees. So you keep planting trees over a period of time. There have people who have won awards for converting a complete barren area of land into nice thick forest over a period of time. It takes time, it takes patience, but then we can do it. So there's a lot of options that people that as students you can think about of giving it back to the environment. At the same time, you can make a career out of it, because at the end of the day, whatever you're learning, be it engineering, be it normal sciences, be it basic sciences, or even non-sciences, there is, if you have the love for environment, you can take up any activity which will contribute to the ESG goals.
Venkatesh, I have a question. So
yeah, sure.
So, are you suggesting that these are interdisciplinary topics? Meaning, I can be a civil engineer, I'm a mechanical engineer, or I'm a BSc computer science student. So, I am eligible for each of those jobs profiles that you are describing so far. So, is it interdisciplinary, or is it limited to only like civil jobs or mechanical or anything like that?
No, I think you be from any field. If you want to be a civil engineer, design the best buildings. If you want to be a mechanical engineer, design the best sewage treatment plant systems. If you're a computer programmer, design the best codes to ensure that the equipments run at the best efficient for the right purposes. So you take up any area of education, in be it civil or mechanical or electrical. Electrical is again one area where you can do wonders in terms of ensuring that a lot of efficiency gets built into the systems of the equipment that get used. So sky's the limit. If I have to sum it up, sky's the limit in wherever you want to reach. Or you can also, if you're a civil engineer, you can not only design buildings, you can also get into conservation, you can also get into energy management, and there are there are so many lines available that you can excel in all the lines.
So if I understood you correctly, what I need is an attitude that I want to save Mother Nature. I love the environment. I want to make it safe for my future generations. So if I have that kind of mindset, then whether I'm an electrical engineer, civil engineer, mechanical engineer, it doesn't matter. ESG is my career choice.
Absolutely. If you want your children and grandchildren and great grandchildren to bless you, then this is the line that you must choose.
Thank you.
Okay, some of the other ones, you have the air quality engineers. We all know how the quality of air is. We breathe bad air when you come to metros. Of course, air is slightly more better as we move away from the metro cities. But then there are multiple equipments, designs that bring out that not only monitor the quality of air, but also is there any mechanism where the air can become better? Because air is something an integral part. So air, water, soil, these three things finally form Mother Nature. So it's very important that air is also taken up. The next one is an analyst. So analyst basically how there might be loads of data that comes in. So in terms of how to get over the data can sometimes be extremely overwhelming. But it's all about managing the data properly and getting the right information that an organization needs. So that's what an ESG analyst does. A simple example is how how much energy that gets generated from our solar farms that we have erected inside our either be it on our terraces or be it inside our campuses. Okay, so there will be a daily data, you convert it into a weekly data and sum it up into a monthly data, and then make a trend analysis. Okay, in the month of January we have generated so much, in the month of February so much, March will be high, April will be even more higher because of summer, June, July will be less, and so we have a small hill that will come up as a bar graph. So who does this? This is normally done by a data analyst, so that it gives a very clear picture of how we generate our data and how we use the data. It becomes, and in case you want any interventions to be done, when I say interventions, whether you want to improve if you want to take up any repairs. Okay, so the best time to take up repairs will be somewhere in the month of July, because it's very cloudy. The solar panels may not be giving the best amount of energy unit. So all this data helps you to plan better. So that's what an analysis does. Analyst does. Yeah. So other jobs that you can also look at: sustainability manager. What are the various sustainability initiatives that your organization has done? Because there's so much of focus on sustainability initiatives. And why so much of focus? Because a lot of clients from across the world, they are asking us questions as to, fine, you're doing your job well, but what are you doing apart for your sustainability? What are you doing to ensure that you are operating out of a very sustainable environment? What are the initiatives that you have done? So if you don't have the right answers, then business will go away from you, from the organization. So it's very important that the organization is completely focused towards this, and to get this focus, it requires more and more people over the coming years. So focusing on this aspect of environment and sustainability is would become a very lucrative role in the coming years. There are also EHS managers, that is environment, health and safety, to ensure that whatever field the organization might be in manufacturing or services sector, or be it IT sector. EHS managers ensure that your workplace is managed well, it has got all the health and safety good practices. There are no dangerous elements to your work area. If there are dangerous elements, it's ensured that the right protection is there, so that nobody, there are no accidents inside the workplace. Because accidents inside the workplace, I'm sure we all would have heard people losing their lives inside coal mines, or because of various factors, or any other industry where people have used incorrect equipment, or they have not used the equipment. So this is where EHS manager comes. His role is to ensure that all the right practices are done in terms of health and safety. All the right practices are adhered to ensure that the workplace is free of such accidents. Accidents can be very, very expensive. It can bring in tremendous amount of disrepute to your organization, and if you can get dragged to the court, and it will go on for many, many years. So look at the amount of time wasted towards um, fighting court cases, giving compensation of many rupees, or if it's outside the country, then it gets converted into dollars or whichever currency. So EHS manager has got a very, very important role to play over a period of time. Yeah. Next one. Let's touch upon the social aspect of ESG.
Yeah, some of the can you also enlighten our students about what kind of salaries they can expect in the job roles that you described so far? Because most of them or all of them will be in entry level. So if I'm a computer science engineer and if I choose the ESG career, will I get same or better or lower salary than my core job? And if I'm a civil engineer, if I'm going to get some XYZ amount of salary in a ABC company, instead, if I choose ESG as a career, will I get different salary, lower, higher? Some information on that might help us.
Yeah, I remember this dialogue from Three Idiots by Amir Khan कि excellence के पीछे भागो, success और पैसा अपने आप भाग के आ जाएगा आपके पीछे. So I repeat that. So it's not about, see, money is something which will come. Entry level salaries are getting better and better over a period of time. Okay, so I wouldn't want to put a figure. It might start from a 4 lakhs or a 5 lakhs or a 6 lakhs. Okay, it might go slightly up, but it's all about how you develop yourself, how do you place yourself, and what kind of knowledge and the expertise that you build for yourself. So these are things, once you become a ESG expert, be it the environment aspect or the social aspect or the governance aspect, once you're good, then there will be loads of organizations running behind you, and that's where you can start demanding. So that's when the money starts flowing. So it's all about excellence. It's all about excellence. Do not worry about how much I'm going to get the moment I pass out of say an engineering or a civil or a mechanical or electrical or a computer. Go into the industry, learn, get yourself equipped, do some certify yourself. There are n number of certifications that ESG offers. There is National Law University that offers environmental law and many others. So it is just a matter of time that that money will come in and fill in your pockets. Yeah, I hope that answers.
Absolutely does very well put,
Yeah.
Venkatesh. I have seen computer science engineers, um, starting at the same salary. Two computer engineers starting at the same salary. After 10 years, one person is at 50 lakhs salary and another person is at 30 lakhs. So why will I start at the same time with the same salary but end up at 30 lakhs versus 50 lakhs? In the same way, in the ESG arena, I have seen some facility managers, super duper cats, getting 50 lakhs. So it doesn't mean that just because you chose ESG the salaries are less. It all, as you rightly said, Venkatesh, it all depends on your merit, your passion, and the value that you build for yourself and give it back to the company. The salary will automatically follow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So if I have to run through some jobs on the social part, you have the corporate social responsibility manager, CSR. Every company, for people who are not aware, every company organization must spend 2% of their profits into CSR activities. What is CSR? Corporate social responsibility. That is what you do for the external community, the external society at large, and not for what you do for the employees. Employees, anyway, you give your salaries and many other benefits, but what you do for the community. Okay, there are companies who build toilets, who build roads, who build schools, and the list is endless. So the corporate social responsibility managers are the people who manage all these external stakeholder communication strategies and build relationships with the third party community. So that's what this job is all about. Next one. Fundraising managers, again, a slightly fancy name, but then there might be requirement of a lot of funds for very large projects. So you raise funds, there's a lot of social media that we are all into, and word spreads pretty quickly. So it's not as difficult as it was before the social media age. Now, once you put it in the right platform, and things will just start flowing in. Next. We have investment analysts, again, on similar lines, ESG performance and where to invest. Because there are people who are constantly looking at not only the company's performance, but also the parameters of ESG. People who companies that do not score well in ESG parameters may not get the funding of many fund managers. It's because if the parameters are not good, if you're not doing well on the CSR front, if you're not doing well for enough for the E part of the ESG or the S part, then you're not in favor with the investment analyst. Next. This is called a CAP, a Chartered Advisor in Philanthropy. So again, philanthropy is all about giving. These kind of people, they decide as to where to give, how much to give, how to give, what is the right time to give. Timing is very important because that should create the right kind of impact. These are all positions that evolve inside an organization. So there may not be a starting position called as a Chartered Advisor in Philanthropy that is readily available for a fresh graduate or a fresh mechanical engineer or a civil engineer. But then once you enter the organization and you show the right attitude and aptitude for the ESG part, then it is just a matter of time that as the company evolves over a period of time, all these positions keep coming up. So it's all about being patient. It's all about showing the good attitude and aptitude for this area of work. Next one. Leadership development trainer. Oh, this is if you can become a trainer. A lot of people they still lack awareness on ESG. There are a lot of senior folks in organization who do a lot of other important activities, say a finance or an HR or a regular core operations. It may not be possible for them to spend so much time on ESG. They will have a broad-based understanding, but then as a trainer, you can either as a trainer or an external trainer or a consultant, you can definitely give in a lot of value addition to leadership development training in ESG. But for that, you must be a subject matter expert. You must know your stuff. You must do a lot of studying on the job training, as well as hands-on, as well as a lot of reading that needs to be done. You should be updated with the latest laws, etc., that can be shared with the leadership of organization. Next one. Yeah, so you have the diversity chief diversity officer. Diversity is nothing but you are having the right mix of people in your organization. You are paying fairly. You have the right standards of work. Okay, you are not treating people unfairly. So the chief diversity officer looks into all that, because all these things, if not managed properly, if you don't monitor this, can lead to a lot of uncomfortable situations. One of the frequent words that I'm sure you would have heard over period is strikes. So strike starts from a very small incident that would have gone unnoticed. It wouldn't have been attended to in the right manner. It wouldn't have been given the kind of seriousness that it ought to, and it balloons up into something much more bigger, and creating a lot of problems for the organization. So I'm not saying that the chief diversity officer is the right person to deal with strikes as such. But then once this person, he or she, is ensuring that the place is having the right set of pay practices, the equitable work environment for all people. There are equal number of both genders at workplace. So all these things makes an organization much more better place to work. Next one. Let's quickly go to governance. I think so we have, yeah, next slide, please. Yeah. Governance manager. So compliance. When I say compliance, it's a lot of rules that you must adhere to that an organization must do in order to run its operations in a fair, ethical manner. So there are a lot of rules that you must abide to. Okay, there are a lot of permissions permissions and certificates that you must have in order to run operations. Manufacturing industries have a larger list because they have a lot of they have to adhere to a lot of regulations and rules because of the kind of work that they do and the environment that they operate. Okay, and say other companies like IT also, we also have to have a lot of compliances that we must adhere to. But that is done by the state government or by the central government, be it in terms of how we manage our pollution, how much waste do we generate, because we also generate, IT companies generate a lot of e-waste. Now, where does the e-waste go? Uh, Nobody knows, or nobody used to know. So e-waste used to get dumped in some corner of some kabadiwala, and it used to leach onto the soil. All the metals used to leach on the soil and leading to soil contamination. But that's not the case. There's a lot of improvement that has happened on e-waste management over the past 3-4 years. So it's very important that the governance manager knows how to deal with all this. He should also oversee the internal process of the company as per the required standards. Okay, next. Okay, risk and compliance analyst. Okay, he's responsible for assessing and documentation of the compliance, and also is to provide highly skilled technical and information security expertise for development and implementation of security risk management programs. So analyst also has got a very important role to play. Next. Corporate governance, paralegal. So if I have to talk shortly, it's all about legal systems. Legal is something that, irrespective of whatever stream that you have, be it engineering or sciences, you can still get into legal, learn the applicable laws, and get into the compliance aspect of any organization. Because governance is as such that it's not like the previous years or the previous generations. There's any non-compliance will lead to severe penalties. Severe penalties, severe in terms of money, and not only money, it causes a loss of reputation. Loss of reputation is something which we cannot get back. money probably, you'll earn the lost money in the next few years, but reputation is extremely difficult to build. It takes years and years and years to build reputation, and losing that reputation just because you have done something which is non-compliant is something that is definitely not acceptable to many companies. So getting into the legal aspect of governance is a good line to choose. You can be from any from any stream, be it engineering or sciences, etc. Next one. You have an important, you have an ethics officer who, how how does an organization work? Okay, are we following the right practices? Are we resorting to illegal means to uh, to increase our profits? Is that the right way to do that? So an ethics officer will guide the leadership, or will give information and the inputs that, look, this is the way that we need to do, and these are the right practices, these are the incorrect practices. So their job role includes developing and implementing training programs for employees on ethical standards and practices in their specific field, providing guidance on conflict of interest and ethical dilemmas to individuals. So a very interesting role that is, but provided, of course, you understand how ethics work. So as a fresh graduate, again, this is all about entering the workforce and learning the various aspects of compliance and ethics, and then getting on to this particular field.
Very nice, Venkatesh. I have a couple questions again.
Yeah.
So what are the companies that I should target as a student? What are the companies that are hiring? And probably you can mention also some top role models for me that I can mold my career, or build my career based on, any such insights in terms of role models and the companies that are hiring.
Let me see companies as such. There's a wide plethora of companies, a wide spectrum of companies which requires ESG entrance as well as specialists. You can become a specialist after you enter the organization and give your heart and soul to it. So there's a lot of requirement in manufacturing industries, mining industries, because these are some of the industries which has a direct impact on environment. Mining industries, steel industries, okay, industries dealing with agro materials. Okay, so all these industries would require a lot of entrance on the ESG aspect, because that is something which they cannot afford to let go. So there will be requirements. If you do your environmental law specialization, or if you have some short course on ESG, it may not give you immediate results, but then it's just a matter of time that it will set you on the right path. And when it comes to role models, this is one area of field where role models are very far and few. So it's an open sky for each one of you. So students, please note that you can become a role model. You can become a role model. This is one area where that you can make your mark. You can shine in this particular field, because this field has just started to open up. It's a very important field, because nobody can afford to ignore it as on today, because anybody ignoring it will pay a very, very heavy price for ignoring ESG. So it's very easy to become a role model. It's it's all about having the right attitude, aptitude, and the interest. And mark my words, some of you will become, and all my best wishes to do that.
Very nice. Are there more slides, or this is...
Yeah. Okay, so I've reached at the end of my slide.
Okay. So I think so we'll open the floor for questions. Rakesh, do you see any questions on the chat box? Rakesh, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Any questions from the chat box?
See, unfortunately, majority of the questions already covered, sir. See, people, I'll just read the questions first.
Yeah.
They students know they are asking that how much salary we get, what are the job positions, what are the skill set required for this CV in this sector. These kind of questions they posted. One HOD, Mr. name is Suresh. He asked something. I don't know. You can answer for that.
Yeah, go ahead.
What's the
I
question?
posted in public chat.
Public chat. Can you read out? Let me see.
No, I'm not able to see the public chat.
How we build an ESG framework that is future proof for tomorrow's economic realities.
So, building a framework in terms of the E part or the S part, so it's all about how you build that framework. Future proof is something I'm unable to actually say whether it can be future proof, because it is constantly evolving. Things will change. Laws are changing. When laws change and compliances change, then frameworks also change, because you will have to adhere to the latest law of the land, and it's not something what you used to follow 10 years back can be followed now also. Things have changed. So it's a constant evolving situation when it comes to ESG. What was good 10 years back is not good anymore, and I'm sure what is good today may be irrelevant in the next 5 years. It's like a mobile phone. What was there? Apple 10 or 11 was considered good 1-2 years back, and now day for yesterday we have Apple 14 Pro coming up. So it's all about constant evolving on the ESG parameters.
Yeah, there is one more thing that comes to my mind. I think it's an excellent question. The robust framework for future proof. I think there are two ways to look at it. One is, uh, as a citizen, right, and as a human being, you have to do something back to the society for yourself and also for your future generations. So that way, you don't need any law, you don't need any regulations, compliance, and so on. So it all starts at home, right? Whether it's e-waste, whether it is carbon emissions, whether it is saving the energy, whether it is putting solar panels, all those lots of things that humans at home can do. That is one aspect. The other aspect is to have a framework which is future-proof. Depends on the goals that you set to yourself. At the beginning of this presentation, Radhika mentioned the net zero goals of India is 2070. There are many countries that have 2050 targets, but there are many corporates that have 2040 targets, right? So, if if your question was relating to that in terms of being compliant as well as being responsible uh, for the climate, you have to have the end goal. When should I become, for example, I'm in Infosys or I'm some company. Um, then, if my target is 2040 to become net carbon neutral, then what are the things I should do today, and then what is my roadmap to get there? Right? You need to have 1 year goals, 3 year goals, 5 year goals, and 2040 goals, and then course correct as needed. As Venkatesh mentioned, you probably have to course correct based on the regulations and laws that change. Otherwise, within the current framework of law, you have to build a framework where you have a clear roadmap of how you achieve your 2040 and 2050 goals, and have a methodical way to get there. In the especially in the E area. Uh, so that would be my take. Anything you want to add, Venkatesh?
Yeah. So any more questions? If it's there, I'm more than happy to answer those, Rakesh. If there's anything that has come in the chat box, if at all.
Mostly repetitive questions, sir. There is.
Okay.
Okay,
to you, Radhika.
so if that's the case, let's ask our expert to give one takeaway from our students. Venkatesh Garu, what's that one single takeaway that you would advise our students?
I'm sure people who are listening or who have joined this chat, some of you would have liked this. Some of you have got different options in mind in terms of their careers. That is perfectly fine. Each one of us have our respective priorities of careers, our choices that we make. But at the end of the day, each one of you must be environmental conservationist at our heart, and that starts with our individual homes. How what all practices that we do in our houses, or how we live our life in terms of having the right set of good environmental practices. Okay, be it simple things like avoiding plastic, simple things like taking a cycle or a bicycle or walking short distances instead of vehicle, trying to use products that are far more energy efficient. Okay, so managing your waste properly, managing waste at homes is something which a lot of us still need to learn. So many things in terms of how we manage our waste. A lot of us mix our waste and we don't manage it properly. If we do the small things right in our respective individual and personal lives, I'm sure wherever or whatever career choices that you make, you would have made your contributions to Mother Nature. Irrespective, you might be the best civil engineer, or you might be the greatest chartered accountant or electrical engineer. But then if you make some of the small choices in your individual lives, I'm sure you would have done your contributions to nature. Oh, that's all. I would say I wish each one of you the very best, all the best in your respective careers. I'm sure you all will do well.
Thank you very much, Venkatesh Garu. So I would like to summarize the entire conversation. That was a beautiful takeaway that you gave us. So I'll summarize our last 1 hour of discussion and what I learned for the benefit of the students. I'd like to summarize very quickly. So basically, we have an impending danger that is coming in our way if we don't do anything today for the humanity. And because of that, lots of activity has started across the globe, and a new industry has evolved, and it is for the better of the humanity, but also it's better of the business because it is opening up business opportunities called ESG. Now, within ESG, lots of activities going on, the lots of goals being set by different countries, and India also has set the goals for themselves, and the companies have set the goals for themselves, and this has opened up a new area that has not been available before for our students. Earlier, you are an engineer, you probably or you become a doctor, or if you are an engineer, you probably learn Java and do some coding. These are all the things that, and if you are a civil engineer, you just go do some planning, and these are all the things that were there before, but that has changed now. The new change has opened up many possibilities, and it has opened up many new jobs in this area, like audit manager, urban planner, environment protection specialist, landscape architect. These are all the nice and new, very interesting titles that are emerging. Sustainability manager. So we want our students to really open up our eyes and open up your ears and listen to what is happening in the industry. Lots of things are happening. So don't always get bogged down by what you knew earlier, what your elders are telling, what your neighbors are telling, what your peers are telling. Just open up your eyes, follow the markets, understand what's going on. All these new interdisciplinary subjects are opening up, interdisciplinary jobs are opening up. Whether you are civil engineer, mechanical engineer, or a computer science graduate, or even an accountant, or BSc, BCom, whatever your graduation is, you have a choice of getting into these new areas, and the salaries will be accordingly growing, So you have passion to what you are doing, have love towards the planet, and increase your awareness, increase your skills, and that will broaden your career, and that will automatically increase your salaries over a period of time. So there are lots of other industries in addition to IT industry that is opening these possibilities, and India is growing, and you're also required to grow along with that and find these new opportunities in ESG. The sky is the limit for us. That's what I learned from what Venkatesh taught us today in the last 1 hour. Radhika, Rakesh, vote of thanks.
Rakesh, is there any more questions from students, sir? Or should we?
No, Andy.
Oh, great. Looks like we covered all the questions in the beginning. So the same questions are repeated. So Venkatesh Garu, thank you. Thank you so much for the very informative session. Thanks, task team and HYSEA ESG Forum members. I would like to thank Mr. Shesha Rao. Thank you, Sugnakar Garu and Rakesh and team members. And would like to thank all the students. If you have any more questions, we will keep on we'll keep organizing this kind of Wind Talk series for our upcoming sessions. Please keep post your questions in our upcoming sessions. We'd like to thank you all. Anything, Shisha, from your side?
That's it. Thank you so much. And this is the Win Talk series that HYSEA conducts for all our task students. The Win Talk would mean win, what industry needs. The Win Talk series has many other topics as well. ESG is one of them, and there are many more that will be useful for your students. So, task team, we are here to help you grow the students in their careers. Thank you very much.
Thank you
If
so
you have
much.
any feedback, please share with us, Rakesh. Any feedback from your colleges, students, faculty?
Requesting all students to, if you have any questions, doubts, you can reach out to the task and we will take it forward those questions to HYSEA and get back to the answers to that. And as well as you can share the feedback on this session.
That will be great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Venkatesh.
Thank you.
Really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a good presentation. I really loved it. Thank you.